You're a wanted man.
I don't do that anymore.
Well, the people who think you did are not planning on taking you alive.
I know how much Bucky means to you. Stay out of this one. Please. You'll only make this worse.
You know I can't.
That's why I'm here. If we can't accept limitations, we're no better than bad guys.
You keep telling yourself that.
You know what's about to happen. Do you really want to punch your way out of this one?
I'm sorry, Tommy. But he's my friend.
So was I.
We're still friends, right?
Depends on how hard you hit me.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Surprise, surprise, even though there's so much DC stuff going on, they dropped new Captain America Civil War footage. Most of it is really taken from Captain America's perspective. It's other characters talking to him about stuff he needs to be doing, stuff he needs to be worried about. Why is the footage called Hope if not a single character says the word hope in it? The reason is because of that Hawkeye Black Widow scene at the very end where she's like, "We're still friends, right?" And he's like, "Depends on how hard you hit me." If you remember in the first Avengers movie, when he was all whacked out on the mind gem, she just slammed his head super hard, and the trauma was what brought him back to his senses. So there's kind of a double meaning when he says, "Depends on how hard you hit me." Like when you're a little kid and you get into a fight with your friend or your brother, yeah, you might have a disagreement, you might punch each other in the face a little bit. There is hope that you will be friends again very quickly. So that is why this footage is called Hope. Speaking of hope, Chris Evans is actually going to be dropping completely different footage at the MTV Movie Awards. I think that's what it is. It's an MTV event on April 10th. I'll totally do a video for it, but sometimes MTV has weird rules about footage that airs on its network, so whatever, it's a ways away, don't worry about it. The other really important footage you may have noticed in this is a slightly different framing of Tony Stark. Look at the way he's talking to Captain America, and look at the clothes that he's wearing. This is their costume designer using clothing to tell the story of the movie. I know it sounds kind of silly, but there's this idea of composition. Like you tell the story in the composition of the film as well as in the dialogue. Like you have Captain America disagreeing with Iron Man. We need to accept limitations or we're no better than the bad guys. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. So imagine two people are having a disagreement. One of them is wearing a very expensive three-piece suit. The other is dressed like an average person. Who is the underdog in this situation? Clearly, you're meant to root for Captain America. And also, Iron Man is sitting down, so a lot of times when they frame two characters together, the character that sits higher in frame is typically more powerful. So even if you weren't already Team Captain America, this clip is trying to inception you into thinking that Captain America is in the right here. Iron Man is the antagonist. And that's assuming you haven't read comic book Civil War. If you've read the comics, you'll probably notice a lot of the visual tricks that they'll play with the movie, just making Captain America seem like the underdog, making Tony Stark seem like an asshole. But the people that make the movies, they've read the comics, so they do try to introduce a couple clever twists. So part of the fun of seeing movies like this is noticing all the visual tricks and then looking for the twist that they introduce for the comics, especially when it comes to big WTF deaths. They keep teasing there's going to be some big moment that's going to make fans poop their pants, and I feel like they're going to kill one of the characters, but they're making it sound like Doctor Strange is going to have the time gem, so you're like, when we get to Infinity War, does that mean that they're going to reverse a lot of the damage that they've done to themselves, as well as the damage that Thanos has done? Hard to tell. I think a lot of it depends on which actors re-up their contracts. I love thinking about how real-world things influence the plots of movies. Like, oh, so-and-so actor doesn't want to do the franchise anymore. Well, we need a big WTF death. Okay, why don't we use them? We can just kill them off. That'll completely explain why their character isn't around anymore. They also recut some Winter Soldier scenes in this trailer here. It's like footage we've seen before, but it's done from a slightly different perspective. They make it sound like somebody frames this big explosion on Winter Soldier. He says, "I don't really do that stuff anymore." So it's almost like he's on walkabout trying to regain his memories, trying to remember who Bucky Barnes is when this happens and they come looking for him. So maybe someone like Crossbones or someone behind Hydra, one of the villains of the movie, pins this on Winter Soldier and tries to use that to pit the Avengers against each other. Play on the fears of the world in the wake of Sokovia and all the crazy things that have happened that the Avengers have been involved in to benefit from the chaos. Usually in the comics, when heroes go at each other, like in a Civil War situation, you find a villain behind the scenes that's trying to create that situation so that they could benefit from the chaos. So I'm wondering who's going to emerge from the shadows. The rumor is that Daniel Bruhl is going to be one of the big villains of the movie, but that remains to be seen. I don't know if he's going to wind up being Baron Zemo. I thought it was confirmed at one point, but people have been saying that it's not confirmed, so we'll just have to wait and see. Now that Batman v Superman is starting to die down a little bit, Captain America is going to swell up. There's going to be a whole bunch of Captain America stuff in the next month. What I might do for my next Civil War video is do something for all the different people that have been Captain America besides Steve Rogers. There have been a bunch of different people in the comics that have worn the mantle, so be sure to subscribe to get that. If there are any big Marvel videos you guys want me to do, just let me know in the comments. There's some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's some Gotham stuff, there's some other little stuff that I'm trying to catch up on, especially Daredevil too, so some of that might post to Facebook. My next Daredevil video will probably post on Wednesday or Thursday, so don't worry, we'll get through all that stuff. The Facebook page is facebook.com/emergencyawesome, and my Twitter is awesomeemergency, so you guys can follow me there for updates. There is a new episode of The Flash posting tonight. While you guys wait for that, you can click here for my Flash Supergirl crossover video, and you can click here to learn all about the special Justice League scene they just posted from Batman v Superman. There was just some deleted footage that was actually a pretty big deal. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.